What's up, guys? It's your Out Here for the Team Fantasy Football League Commissioner, Cody. I'm here with your official 2020 Out Here for the Team Fantasy Football League Draft Recap. That's right, the draft recap. So just to keep you guys, before we get into all that, I would like to start out by saying thank you to each and every one of you, all 11 or all 12, including myself, Cody, for attending the draft. I know things were tough with this COVID stuff. We did an online draft with a new draft format. Everybody did take the time to log in an efficient amount of time. I would like to thank everybody for minus, I know we had a couple like 3 draft picks were missed, but that's about 99% of the draft was fully drafted. So somebody who does not enjoy the auto pick, thank you very much. The draft went very smoothly, minus Will's team meeting. I don't care what anybody says. As commissioner of this league with all of my friends, this is my league, I should have the right to see all of my friends. So we will not be doing Microsoft Teams next year. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Forgive my French, but that drove me crazy that I didn't get to see my friends on my draft, minus the draft that I got screwed with because the whole Microsoft bullshit didn't work. Oh, it's all a MacBook. Oh, no, it's not a MacBook because I tried a PC and it didn't work either. So whatever. Nonetheless, everything went smoothly for the most part. Conversation was fun. There's a lot of joking around. Will and Brandon went back and forth. That was a lot of fun. The rebuttals, everybody going at it. I just want to say thank you to everybody, not only for participating in the draft, but making it fun, even though we are in a weird time and we, have to adjust to this stuff. So thank you to everybody for doing that, and making it a priority to attend the draft as well, both either physically or if you weren't able to, electronically drafting. Moving on. This is, like I said, this is your draft recap. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the first couple rounds. I don't want to go through the whole draft because there's a lot of stuff on here that's just meh, After I go through the first, probably like, I don't know, maybe the 7th or 8th round, we'll stop. I'll just go through the teams and just, talk about the teams I like, teams that could be sleepers, teams that I think, man, you should probably start tanking now. Just because I feel that way does not mean that you should necessarily start tanking now. Just 'cause I feel that way. I could be wrong. My insight is not always right. So just make sure that that's clear to you guys, that I'm just doing this because I have an opinion and I do this stuff. Like, I'll be laying in my bed looking at everybody's roster all day, and I'm in 7 leagues, so I'll look at everybody's roster in my league and all 7 leagues, and just to see who I can maybe trade for, who I can beat, what my competition's like, because I don't think ESPN standings are all that accurate, because I feel like I had some great drafts and they're saying otherwise. So like I said, I just want to say thank you to everybody, and without further ado, let's get into it, because there's a lot of stuff going on. Now, before we get into it, I just want to explain the draft to those who are not in the league. If you are watching this video, the keepers format is, if you draft somebody the previous year, their player value increases 1 year, or 1 round, I apologize, the following year. So for example, last year I drafted Daniel Jones in the 18th round. I kept him with let's see, I apologize. I drafted him with the 17th round. This year, he's a 16th round value, meaning he was my 16th round pick. And if you ask Matthew Berry, his ride or die is Daniel Jones. No reason in the world he should go in the 16th round. That's just to keep keep things interesting, give players values. This is a keeper league. Also, before we get further in, if you drafted somebody in the 2nd round the previous year, then obviously they become a 1st round value. Your 1st round pick stays a 1st round pick. So just to keep the players in flux and keep players going into the draft pool, I made it so that you can only keep one of your first 2 picks if you wanted to. Okay. With that being said, I will let you know who is kept as I go over the orders, and then like I said, afterwards we'll get into each individual team, which one I like, which ones I don't. Like I said, which ones should start tanking. Everybody has the same amount of draft picks, and draft picks can be traded as well. All right. So starting off, I'm going to give you the order of the names of our teams. Not teams, but the people owning the teams. And then we're just going to do a little snake draft, all right? So we got, with a little bit of commentary as well. So first pick was Gary, then Scott, then Phil, then Cody, me, your commissioner, Kyle, then Will, Craig, Eric, Liam, and then Brandon, Hobert, and Dylan. That's 1 through 12. It's a 12-team league. Now, keep in mind the format is pretty funky. It's one quarterback. There's like two running back receiver flexes, two receiver tight end flexes, two regular flexes, and OP defense and kicker, I believe. There might be another flex in there somewhere somehow, but there's no actual running back, tight end, or receivers. I change it every year just to keep things interesting. I also made it so that, I believe that there's 21 bench total slots. I've made the format so that the amount of quarterbacks you have, receivers, everything totals out to 21. So you're not gonna just have an extra defense that you can drop for a running back. You know what I mean? I just like to get creative, and I'm not sure anybody picked up on it in the league. I'm sure that people are gonna hate it, but guess what? We can change it next year. And I'm just a dick sometimes. See this? No fucks given. Have some fun for once. All right. Moving on. So let's start with the draft. Gary starts off with Gary starts off with Dalvin Cook. Now, Dalvin Cook was not his keeper. At that pick, I was questionable about it on the draft. However, right before Sunday hit, Dalvin Cook did sign his contract. So great pick by Gary. I can't believe he wasn't kept. I can't remember who had him last year, but like I said, Dalvin's a great #1 pick. Christian McCaffrey goes to Scott. That was his keeper. That's a no-brainer. Arguably the best fantasy asset last year. Unarguably the best running back in my opinion. Phil kept Patty Mahomes. Can't blame him there. First round, I mean, maybe not first round pick, but to have Patrick Mahomes, who could blame him there? Cody then kept DeAndre Hopkins. Cody was kicking himself a little bit because as a first round asset, DeAndre Hopkins is a great first round asset. However, he has not been going in the first round in any of his drafts. So Cody's definitely kicking himself, and we'll explain why in a little bit. He did not have a first round pick, and that's why he's kicking himself. Kyle then went Nick Chubb, which I'm not a big fan of, but Nick Chubb is Nick Chubb, and Nick Chubb can definitely run the football. Will kept Alvin Kamara. Craig drafted CEH, and CEH was the guy that Cody was going after. Like I said, no harm, no foul. CEH is a great player. Good job, Craig, for getting him. Eric kept Tyreek Hill as a first-round value. Who could blame him there? Liam drafted Joe Mixon. Brandon kept Saquon. Matt Hobert kept Zeke, taking over Team Perry. And Dylan kept Michael Thomas, the best receiver of all of football. 149 receptions. God only knows how many yards he had. He led me to 3 championships. All right, so that rounds out your first-round values. Not too many stretches there. I mean, they're all solid first-round picks. Just depends on everybody's personal feelings on each player. I can't really complain on anybody that's been taken there. So coming back around the snake, we'll start off with Dylan keeping Zach Ertz. Can't blame him. Arguably top 2, unarguably top 3 tight end. Going Zach Ertz, then got Hobert with Stephon Diggs. I thought that was a bit of a stretch. However, Matt is a homer. He loves himself some Buffalo Bills, and the Bills paid a hefty price to bring him in from Minnesota. So, they need to make that work, and they gave him a lot of money. So you can't blame him there for taking him. They're going to use him. Mike Evans, I wasn't a big fan of that pick either. However, Mike Evans is Mike Evans. Can't blame him for being Mike Evans. And he has Tom Brady. So, again, there's no blame there. Those guys, I feel like you could have got them in third-round values, but again, it depends on everybody, and it's a long wait back. So when you see somebody you like, you got to take them. Moving on to Liam, you got Derrick Henry. That was his first keeper. If he drafted him in the third round last year, he was arguably, not my opinion, but arguably the best running back last year. Actual running back, I'd say he was the best, but he's not a receiving back. So, great second-round value there. He's going top 7 picks in every draft I've done so far. Eric drafted Josh Jacobs, which I'm definitely kicking myself for because I really wanted me some Josh Jacobs in my life. I did get him in a couple other leagues, but Eric, excellent pick there. He's going to blow up all season. Moving on, Craig with Leonard Fournette. Love the name, Fournette Flicks and Chill, but man, you are Fournette flixing everywhere because you don't know where he was going to end up. Fortunately, he found himself at home in Tampa Bay. However, that was your keeper, and as a keeper in the second round, that's our first stretch. Craig, king stretch over there. I know you didn't have. I know it's unfortunate, and he was your keeper, and the deadline was I did push it to the 15th, and it's unfortunate he was released. But he did sign with Tampa. He could he could be a star running back over there if they give him the chance. But time will tell. We don't know what that offense is going to look like. Moving on, Will went Devontae. Will is big on Devontae. Got him in all 4 leagues. Who could blame him? Aaron Rodgers is going to blow up this year because everybody's doubting him. And every time anybody doubts Aaron Rodgers, he blows up. And who's the only guy going to catch a pass from Aaron Rodgers that he trusts? Devontae Adams. So in 4 leagues, I'm going to have to worry about facing Will every week because I believe Devontae Adams will be a top 2 receiver this year. Yes, you heard that. Top 2. That's how good I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be. Moving on, Kyle went Adam Thielen. I thought that was a bit of a stretch, but Adam Thielen, he's a possession receiver. If he can keep them hammies healthy, he's excellent number 2 pick. Moving on to Cody with Julio. Julio's unarguably a top 5 receiver, and Brand. So, in a little bit of a history lesson, I chose Julio with the number 4 overall pick in the past, and I needed him to. I can't remember if it was to make the playoffs or to win a playoff matchup or a championship or something. I needed 10 points from my number 4 overall pick, Julio fucking Jones. I didn't fucking get it, and Brandon will never let me forget it because I bitched so much to him about it, and he gives me shit for drafting Julio here. Now, however, while he's right, he's the best receiver on the board. You can't not take Julio. And for a second round, 4th pick, I'll take that all fucking day because he's gone way before that pick and any draft that I've taken. So I'm good with that. Moving on, Phil, you got Travis Kelce matching him with Patty Mahomes. Untouchable. Excellent choice. Moving on, you got Scott with Miles Sanders. I'm not a big Miles Sanders guy because he fucked me last year. He did come up pretty clutch here later in the season. I did lose to Scott, unfortunately, in the championship. Fuck you, Scott. However, he's going first round every draft. So to get him on the back end of the second round, that's a steal right there. And ending the second round with Gary, with Odell Beckham Jr. A couple years ago, that'd have been a great pick. Let's just see if Baker can get his shit together and Kevin Stefanski can put an offense around them because that's a lot of talent they're wasting. I just don't see a lot of hope in Cleveland. It's Cleveland, not Believeland. It's Cleveland. All right, that ends out the second round. Moving on to the third, back up with Gary. He went Amari Cooper, which. Amari Cooper is Amari Cooper. Then George Kittle goes to Scott. David Johnson to Phil. Now David Johnson, who was pretty much bought for DeAndre Hopkins to the Houston Texans, which everybody's wondering about. I don't see how that doesn't work out because they need it to work out. Hopefully that's a good pick, Phil. I love me some David Johnson. He's won me 2 championships in the past, so I don't see how that's a bad pick. Cody went Chris Carson. I love me some Chris Carson. I can't believe he fell that far. And as you'll see, that'll be the last running back that Cody takes for like 6 or 7 rounds, which is absurd. Keep in mind, I don't know if I did go over the positional breakdown for the league. It's a bunch of flexes, not set running backs and receivers and tight ends and stuff. There is a set quarterback, obviously, but there is an OP as well. So, Cody didn't go too running back heavy in this draft, as you'll see. There weren't many available either. Le'Veon Bell goes to Kyle. Kyle talks a lot of shit on Le'Veon Bell, but he drafts him. He's an oddball. We were talking about trading him for some tacos from Taco Bell the other day. Moving on, James Conner to Will. Can't complain about that. James Conner. 3rd round. As long as he stays healthy, he's definitely a bell cow. Back in the 3rd round, I like that a lot. Craig gets Gurley. Hopefully his knees can hold up. That'd be a great value pick there, especially because Lenny Fournette is going to be a questionable 2nd round pick. Moving on to Elo with Melvin Gordon, then Cooper Kupp. Liam has a tendency to draft consistent players every year, including Cooper Kupp. I believe he's had him almost every year. Can't blame him. Cooper Kupp's a solid possession receiver. It's a PPR league, so you can't blame him for that. Moving on to Brandon with Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor is that Indianapolis rookie. He's going to take over the reins by the end of the season. I promise you that. That's going to be a great steal there. Hobert kept Aaron Jones with a 3rd round value. Excellent keeper. Dylan then went Mark Ingram to end out the 3rd round. I'm not a big Mark Ingram fan. I think J.K. Dobbins is going to run that offense by midseason. At least the backfield. I apologize. The backfield, not the offense. But that ends out the 3rd round. Moving on to the fourth round, Dylan then popped back around with Kenny Galladay. What you doing? Nothing, chilling at the Galladay Inn. I love me some Kenny Galladay. Oh, I've been a fan with him. Mini Megatron, love him. Hobert then comes back around with Mark Andrews. Can't complain about that. Mark Andrews is a steal at the third pick. He's unarguably, in my opinion, top three tight end. And if Lamar Jackson keeps it going, watch out, man. Kenyon Drake is Brandon's keeper. Can't blame him there. Once he arrived in Arizona, he was lights out. Juju then goes to Liam. I hope Ben can be a top 5 receiver because Juju fucked me last year. A.J. Brown then goes to Elo, Eric. He was big last year as well. Drew Brees was then Craig's keeper. Will went DJ Moore, which he's banking on some Teddy Bridgewater. Kyle went Cortland Sutton. Cody then comes back with Russell Wilson. Cody doesn't take quarterbacks at least before the 7th to 10 range. He went 4th with Russell Wilson because he was sitting right there waiting for him. And to have Seattle's offense and the quarterback and the running back, I mean, Jesus, watch out for Cody, man. I promise. I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, but I'm just in love with Cody's team. It's crazy. I wonder why. But no, in all seriousness, moving on. Phil went Keenan Allen. Hopefully Tyrod can pick up the reins like he did in Buffalo. I love me some Keenan Allen and some Tyrod Taylor. Scott then follows up with Calvin Ridley, who has some high hopes this year. And Gary ends the round in the 4th round with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson without DeAndre Hopkins, not a bad pick. Cody was definitely looking for him to go back-to-back with Wilson and Watson there, but Gary definitely had a good pick right there. Then he starts the 5th round out with Tyler Lockett. Scott goes Matt Ryan to go with his Calvin Ridley. Cody knew that was coming the second he took Calvin Ridley because it was either going to be Watson or Ryan going right back to Cody there in the 5th round, but neither one of them made it because there's snipers there. Phil goes Allen Robinson. Cody then goes Robert Woods. See, those quarterbacks were taken, so Cody had to adjust his strategy a little bit. Robert Woods is sitting there waiting for him like, what is happening? Scott goes Edelman. I'm sorry, Kyle goes Edelman. Will then goes Kyler Murray, which is an excellent pick. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was his keeper. He kept Kyler Murray. So that was his 5th round pick, which was a steal. I feel like Kyler Murray is going to be a top 5 quarterback this year as well. T.Y. Hilton goes to Craig. Cam Newton was Eric's 2nd keeper, which I thought that was I might have said that was okay in the keeper draft, but I just looking forward, I feel like that was looking back. I apologize. It's definitely a stretch. However, it could be hit or miss, and I think that it's going to hit more than it's going to miss. I'm not sure if 5th was where I wanted to take him there, but you got to take him where you got to take him, right? Moving on, Liam went Evan Ingram. Brandon went Hollywood Brown, which I'm shocked he went that late. Hobert kept Chris Godwin. And Dylan ended the round with Devin Singletary. Not much to really say in that round. Not much going on there. Just some good picks. A couple guys that I probably would have waited around, but nothing too crazy going on. Dylan then starts out with Carson Wentz, which is to match with Zach Ertz. Who could blame him for that genius idea? Hobert went Devontae Parker. Now keep in mind, Devontae Parker would have been a 17th round value if Brandon would have kept him. But no, Brandon's keepers are very solid. Devontae Parker goes 6th round to Matt. Brandon does take the first, what I would feel is a bigger stretch, hit or miss. It could hit. It could hit real big. But I think it's going to be more of a wait-and-see type thing. He takes Gronk there in the 6th round. I feel like there were some other options there, but again, it depends on who you personally like. And he has Tom Brady and Mike Evans, so, he's just buying into Tampa Bay or Tampa Brady, depending on how you look at it. Then you go Liam with Kareem Hunt. I feel like he gets Kareem Hunt every year. I love Kareem Hunt this year. I like Nick Chubb, but Kareem Hunt's that dynamic back that they're looking for. He showed it last year, and I think he's going to show it again this year. Eric Eric is Elo. Elo goes Raheem Mostert, who I can't believe he fell to 6th round. That's a great pick. Craig goes Jarvis Landry, a great possession receiver. A little bit more consistent than Odell in the 2nd round, so I think that was a much better pick there. Will goes Terry McLaurin. I believe Will's a Redskins. I apologize. A football club fan. He's a big football club fan, based out of Washington. But Terry Mack is a great pick right there. Austin Hooper then goes to Kyle. And then Cody comes back with Michael Gallup. The fact that he got Michael Gallup right there, oh my goodness, you all better watch out. His receivers right now, as it stands, Hopkins, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, Robert Woods, and Michael Gallup. Wow, excellent receivers. Y'all need to send him some trade offers if you need a receiver. Phil then follows that up with an Aaron Rodgers pick, which Aaron Rodgers, I'm telling you, I know I've been saying this with a bunch of top 5 quarterbacks, whatever. I promise you, Aaron Rodgers, I don't promise you that because I can't promise anything in football. I bet Aaron Rodgers is a top 3 quarterback this season because people are doubting him based on last season. And they drafted a quarterback 1st round, which is absurd. Nuts. I don't know why they did that. Then Scott's 2nd keeper was Austin Eckler, which excellent keeper value. Excellent keeper value. Not much else to say. He's going to be that entire offense. Minus Keenan Allen, but I think he's going to be even more dynamic than Keenan Allen. Cam Akers then goes to Gary. He's definitely poised for a big career. Let's just hope that he can get the other 2 guys out of the way so he can shine. That ends your 6th round. We're going to pop back around into the 7th round. Tyler Higbee back to Gary. Dak Prescott was Scott's 3rd keeper at a 7th round value. People look at him as a top 3. People, not me, but people look at him as a top 3 quarterback. I don't blame him as somebody who has Michael Gallup. I hope that he is a top 3 quarterback, So, the potential's there, and for that value, excellent job, Scott. He has some great value keepers, minus McCaffrey, but to have McCaffrey as value in itself. Moving on, David Montgomery to Phil. I'm glad that nobody's stretching on Montgomery with that groin. Seems like he's going to play this week. We'll find out here on Sunday. Cody then follows up with another receiver, DJ Shark Jr. Can't believe he fell that far. Minshew is going to be a top 10 quarterback this year with a team that has nothing to play for. They have nobody on their team except Gardner Minshew. Tell me who else is on that team. I'll wait. DJ Chark, that's who's on that team. Couldn't tell you who the starting running back's going to be. Couldn't tell you who the tight end is, and they trade all their defense away. So they're going to be throwing all season. So DJ Chark's excellent value pick right there in the 7th round. Keep an eye on these receivers Cody's got, because he might keep three receivers next year. He won't do that, I promise. But he's got some good talent there. Kyle then goes Tyler Boyd. Will then goes DeAndre Swift, rookie from Detroit. Robbie Anderson then goes to Craig. Deebo Samuel to Elo, which I'm being told by the people I listen to is a potential fantasy winner. And to have Mostert, once Deebo gets healthy, watch out. Eric's team could be really sneaky down the line. Moving on, we got Matthew Stafford to Liam. We have, I feel like he has Stafford every year as well. Like I said, Liam gets a lot of the players that he drafts consistently. And who could blame him? I mean, it works. He's always contending. Will Fuller then goes to Brandon, which there's no DeAndre Hopkins. You watch out. If he can stay healthy, he could be an X factor for Brandon's fantasy team. Matt Hobert goes J.K. Dobbins, which, like I said, I'm a big Dobbins fan. I think he's going to be big this year. Then Dylan ends round 7 with Deontay Johnson. Assuming Ben goes top 5 quarterback this year, which he has the potential, and he's healthy and he's feeling good, Deontay Johnson is an excellent value pick for round 7. I think he could have a better season than Juju, and I think Juju will have a good season as well. So that's a lot to say with the potential there. That ends round 7. We'll do round 8 just to make it an even number. 7's a lucky number, but 8's an even number. and then I'll go into individual teams, into which ones I think will be contenders, pretenders, and let's plan for next year. So Dylan Den starts round 8 with Jerry Jeudy. Best route runner in the draft. Great pick. I think he's going to be better than Cortland Sutton. Sorry, Kyle. John Brown to Matt Hobert. Oh, you and your Bills, man. Which Bill are you going to start each week? You want to start them both? What do you think? They're going to carry 2 fantasy receivers all season? Star fantasy receivers? They're not the Rams. They're not the Steelers of Hines Ward and Mike Wallace. Or Mike Wallace and AB. That's not what's going on here. What do you think you're doing? This is Buffalo. Josh Allen has talent. Just we'll wait and see. Then, speak of the devil, Ben. Ben then goes to Brandon. Gardner Minshew to Liam. I believe that was one of his keepers, which Liam is a Minshew mania guy. Who could blame him? I'm a big fan of Gardner myself. James White then goes to Elo. Great value pick there, especially to go with Cam. I think they could be a good 1-2 punch, especially because Cam did real well with McCaffrey, and James White is a veteran McCaffrey. Watch out, man. He's very healthy, too. I don't think he's ever fumbled in his career as well. You can check me on that, but I don't think he has. Moving on, Brandon Cooks to Craig. Hunter Henry to Will. Kerryon Johnson to Kyle. Antonio Gibson to Cody. Second running back off the board for Cody. All the way in the 8th round. That's the opposite of what Cody usually does, but hey, whatever floats his boat, huh? AJ Green to Phil. That's hit or miss. Big AJ Green fan myself, but we want to watch out for that hammy. Whatever else is ailing him at this point. Jesus, I don't even know the last time he played football. 2 years ago, I think. Either way, rookie quarterback, no offseason, but he's definitely could hit. So he is AJ Green. Much respect and love to AJ Green. He won me a championship or 2 in the past couple of years. Christian Kirk goes to Scott, and Marvin Jones ends the 8th round to Gary. Now there are some other picks here. Just by looking real quick, CeeDee Lamb goes to Will in the 8th. I think that could be real sneaky there. Tom Brady was Brandon's keeper there. As I said, he has pretty much Tampa's entire offense. That you better hope they hit, because if they miss, you are gonna miss a lot of points this season. That's the 9th round. Looking back at the 10th round, let's see here. Not too much craziness going on in the 10th round. Baker was kept in the 10th. Here's the craziness. Lamar Jackson was drafted in the 11th round last year by Will. Unarguably the most valuable pick in the draft this year. 10th round. 10th. 10. Diaz. Spanish for 10. Excellent job, Will. Moving on. That's the 10th round. Nothing else crazy really goes on there. 11. 11. Dylan starts the round, or ends the round with a kicker. Did he end it? Johnson back down this way. Yeah, he ends round 11 with the kicker that we bashed him for in the first video. Like I said, all love to Dylan, but man, you kept a kicker. I'm never going to forget this. And neither will you two, because it's on here. Moving on. Let's see. In the 12th round, we got kickers and defenses starting to go aplenty there. 12th round, defenses and kickers. 13th round, defenses and kickers. Cody's keeper of Darren Waller. He was a top 5 tight end last year. Excellent value right there. Backup running backs are going. 14th round, we had a couple premature picks. Raquel Armstead, apparently Gary was on the wrong side of the draft and he was picking. He got all confused. That's all right, though. He still got him. Nobody else wanted him at that point. Actually, to be honest, I wanted him to go undrafted so I could just keep him and throw him on my IR spot because he's on the COVID list. But unfortunately, he was drafted by Gary, so that's all right. Moving on, not much else is going on that's really specific that needs to be said, I feel like. In the 14th, they got 15th. Kickers, tight ends, backups. 16th, like I said, I took Daniel Jones in the 16th because he was my keeper. 17th, Not much really going on. Larry Fitzgerald goes Tua, then goes to Craig, which is really shitting on Brandon because Brandon was definitely going to pick him in the 17th. I knew he was going to pick him because he said he didn't want to pick him. And he's a homer. He's a Dolphins fan. You just know it. And then Brandon ultimately ended up going with Fitzmagic there because Tua was taken. And then, so there's 21 spots on the roster. I ended the draft at 18 just because it was a bit tedious and how I did the draft with the position locks and everything. I just felt like it was tedious and you can just add and drop your players. So we finished in the 18th round. Pretty much the only thing that's really notable there, defenses. O.J. Howard went, T. Higgins. Cody definitely was looking at that last receiver spot because he you know, at that point, who you gonna keep next year? If T. Higgins blows up for whatever reason, Cody might keep him, 17th round value next year. You can't argue with that. Other than that, it was all defense, kickers, and tight ends. And a backup running back, I believe. So with that being said, that was each and every pick for the most part. As far as teams that I'm a big fan of, okay, so obviously I'm Cody. And as unbiased as I could possibly be, I can't really be unbiased, okay? Because I think that my team is the best. So with that being said, I'm going to remove Cody from the equation of the teams that I'm going to name, and I'm going to tell you who I think could give Cody a run for his money because, like I said, I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, and this is the best way I can do it. Obviously, Scott, because Scott has Cody's phone number, email address, AIM, he's got the pigeon to pen pal, okay, whatever you want to do, message in a bottle, okay. He's got Cody's number, and Scott is always going to be somebody that's going to have Cody on lock until Cody shows that he can win the big games against Scott. So with that being said, Scott is definitely a contender this year. Also, I want to look at Eric. He has the potential to contend. With that being said, he also has the potential to pretend. So, but I think he's more on the contend side there. I also really like Team Hobert. He did inherit Team Perry, which it's not cheating, but it should be. I'm just kidding. But Perry did auto pick, so it could be looked at that way. But it's not, and that's fine. I don't like that you took Diggs at the second pick, and that's the only thing I would have fixed about your draft. Like having him at the second pick, I would have much preferred to have. Here are the rest of the second round picks that I personally would prefer. I would prefer Derrick Henry. He was kept, so that obviously doesn't count. Josh Jacobs, I would prefer Devontae Adams. That might have been his keeper. No, he went Alvin, Lamar. Yeah, he chose Devontae. So I would have taken Josh Jacobs. I would have taken Devontae Adams. I would have taken Julio Jones, Travis Kelce. Honestly, and I mean Thielen. No, probably not. I probably would take same system. I don't know. Thielen and Diggs are a toss-up, but I would have taken those five definitely over Diggs. But the rest of Hobert's team going Zeke, Diggs, Aaron Jones, Mark Andrews, Chris Godwin, Devontae Parker, Devontae Parker wanted me a signed Matthew Forte jersey from the Chicago Sports Network of Facebook page, CSN Chicago, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Thank you guys for winning, or letting me run your league because I fucking owned it last year once I picked up Fitzmagic and and Devontae Parker. But J.K. Dobbins, as I said, Goff, he can show the ability to run 3,000-yard receivers. So we'll see if that's a great pick there. I like Jonnu Smith, but everything after that's kind of up in the air. I do like Hobert's team a lot. Those honorable mentions, I'm going to look at Will as well as a contender. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 contenders to go after Cody. Again, I just like Cody's team a lot. I am Cody, so whatever. But I like Will's team a lot. He had excellent value with the Lamar Jackson in the 10th round. Going Kamara, Devontae, James Conner, DJ Moore, Kyler Murray with his keeper in the 5th round, Terry McLaurin, DeAndre Swift. I mean, this team is just Lamar Jackson 10th round. Do I need to say more? I don't think so. Those are my strong contenders this year. My pretenders, I feel bad saying this. I'm going to start it off with Brandon. I love you, buddy. I worry about Tampa Bay. I like Tampa Bay. On paper, they're studded, star studded. However, as I've learned in life, on paper just doesn't work for me very well. Like I said, I could be very wrong here. However, it just doesn't work for me personally. So, with that being said, I I'm not a big fan of all your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It has burnt me in the past. However, I understand why you did it. I love Saquon. I love Mike Evans. I think Jonathan Taylor's going to be a great running back. Kenyon Drake, I'm not sold on personally. He did show up last year at the end when he joined the Cardinals. But again, like I said, I don't know what it is. I just have a feeling. Hollywood's going to be a beast for sure. Then you took Gronk there. Like I said, I wouldn't have taken him there. Will Fuller could be a stud. Ben could be a top 5. But the rest of it's really up in the air in my opinion. But you did get Chase Edmonds to back up Drake, so I respect that. You could easily contend, Brandon. I just think that right now you're in the pretend until I'm shown otherwise. That doesn't mean you should tank. That's just, you're not. So you got the contenders, then you got the pretenders, then you got the tankers. You're not in the tanking mode. Moving on, I would like to look at Phil with a pretender. Phil with Mahomes, Kelsey, David Johnson, Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson, Jesus, Aaron Rodgers, David Montgomery, AJ Green, Ronald Jones, Jamison Crowder. Again, when I say pretenders is like you're so hit or miss in my opinion. Like the players you have on your team, I think that Mahomes, Kelsey, solid. David Johnson needs to work for them. So, like, it's almost solid, but it's hit or miss with him. Allen Robinson, Keenan Allen, we don't know what's going to happen with their offenses. Tyler Taylor, hopefully, is really good, but we don't know. Allen Robinson, Mitchell Trubisky, Jesus, like, it's Mitchell fucking Trubisky. And they brought in Nick Foles, and Mitchell Trubisky won the job. Like, I don't know what to say about that. Aaron Rodgers, like I said, he could be hit or miss. The odds are saying miss, but, again, I'm big on him. It's just a matter of what happens. David Montgomery, I just don't like Chicago's offense at all. Jamison Crowder's a possession receiver. Just a matter of I'm not a big Adam Gase fan at all. I can't believe he's still a head coach. Let me rephrase that. I can't believe he's still the Jets head coach. Based on the drama that's gone on that team, I just can't believe they keep him around. Again, that's why I think you're a pretender. You're just so hit or miss in my book. And I'm a bit all over the place, so I could be wrong. Whatever. But like I said, Brandon and Phil are in the top tier of the pretenders. I think that they have the most ability to swap from pretender to contender. Now we get into the lower half of the pretenders. Gary, I think you're on that list. Dalvin, like I said, great first overall pick. However, Odell, I'm not a big fan. Amari, I like Michael Gallup more than Amari, and I like CD Lamb a lot. I think Amari's gonna take a lot of attention away from the other two guys. Deshaun, no DeAndre Hopkins. So, let's see your talent, bro. I'm a big Deshaun Watson fan. I had a conversation with Scott earlier today about what Deshaun Watson could be. I think he could be the Phil Rivers of the Brady Manning era. So we'll see. I hope I'm wrong about that. Like I said, Scott had a lot of choice words for that. He didn't like that very much. I'm sure it's a controversial topic, but whatever. It's just my thought, and take it or leave it. I don't really care. Tyler Lockett, hit or miss. Cam Akers, unproven because he's a rookie. Tyler Higbee had a great end of season. Marvin Jones helped win me a championship. But Jordan Howard, I don't know. Kirk Cousins, I don't know. Henry Ruggs, rookie. So you're definitely in the bottom half of the pretenders there. And Dylan, I'm going to put you on that pretenders list as well. You're on the bottom half as well. You're top heavy on the draft, like the way the top three of your 4 picks went. I'm a big fan. I'm not, like I said, you go Michael Thomas, Zach Ertz, Mark Ingram, Kenny Golladay. Of those 3, I'm not a big fan of Mark Ingram. But like I said, I could be wrong there, and you could easily pop into the upper echelon of the pretenders and then end up in the contender. Michael Thomas could easily carry your team all season, and then Zach Ertz is the only receiving option in Philadelphia. So, and Kenny Galladay's mini Megatron. I love me some Kenny Golladay. Devin Singletary's unproven. Carson Wentz doesn't stay healthy. Deontay Johnson's unproven without a quarterback play. Jerry Jeudy's a great route runner as an unproven rookie. Like, these are all guys. Joe Burrow. These are all guys that, they could be contending, but until I see it, you're pretending, and that's just my personal opinion. Now we go into the tankers. Now, when I say tankers, this is, like I said, these are all my personal opinions. This has nothing to do with anybody individually. It's just strictly how I feel you did in your draft. And we're going to start off, and these aren't in any specific order. Any order that I've given so far is not based on, ranking teams. This is just, I'm looking at the list, and I'm just giving you my thoughts as I look at the list. So first, I'm going to start off with Kyle. I am not a big fan of your team, Kyle. Taking Nick Chubb in the first, I think you probably, I'm a big CEH fan. I don't know how you pass him up. I just don't get that. You might have some inside information. I don't know. Go for it. Adam Thielen, I like Adam Thielen, just second round. I'm questionable on Le'Veon Bell. Since he won me a championship, he ain't done shit since. And that was 2015, 5 years ago at this point. Jesus, good luck. And you talk shit about Le'Veon Bell a lot. You better, you better hope you can get yourself a taco for him. You know what? I'll buy you a taco and I'll stash him on my bench. Cortland Sutton, he showed up with Drew Lock last year at the end of the season, so hopefully they can keep that momentum. Julian Edelman, Cam Newton, unproven, new system with Cam Newton. Not new system, but new quarterback in Cam Newton. But he is Edelman, so the potential is there. Austin Hooper, I don't think he's going to do what he did last year before he got hurt. I'm going to say it again. Before he got hurt, because he's in a whole new team, no offseason, no preseason, no acclimation. I just don't see how it's going to work. In Cleveland, like I said, I'm not a big Cleveland Brown fan. I am not Believeland. Believe that. Carry on Johnson. You can carry on with that pick. They drafted DeAndre Swift for a reason. And they're going to run a committee. Matt Patricia's always running. He's a Belichick disciple, and he's running. Belichick always runs with a split backfield. Tyler Boyd. You still have unproven Joe Burrow, and you still have AJ Green there. I'm not sure. And they draft another receiver, T. Higgins, so we'll see. Hayden Hurst replacing Austin Hooper. I think that's the most promising pick that you have, as far as potential, because Austin Hooper was the number one fantasy tight end before he got hurt, and Hayden Hurst has that potential to do that in that offense. So I think that's a great pick. Baker Mayfield, I hate Baker, but I know you're a big Baker fan, so, maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, Odell could have a big year. I don't know. Phil Rivers, Frank Gore, defenses, Eagles, Larry Fitz. I just don't think that you're going to contend this year. I think you should bank on next year. Craig with CEH. I love CEH, but everything after that's a big question mark. I'm not sure what to make of your team. I just want to say that if CEH is available, to ring my line, the hotline bling. But in all seriousness, though, I think that your team is preparing for the following year. If you do it right, you could definitely accumulate yourself some draft picks. I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us in this league specifically have history with a fantasy sports league that includes draft picks. So we know how to spend them. We know how to pick them up. And I know Kyle's definitely knows how to pick them up. So he might even end up tanking this year on purpose just to build for his future. So, you could definitely build your future on CEH if you'd like. If not, definitely give me a call. I will buy him. So Craig is also a tanker. And to round it out, Liam, I also believe you're a tanker. Unfortunately, like I said, you had a great value pick in Derrick Henry in the second round. However, I would not have taken Joe Mixon. Other players that I would have taken in that first round, Josh Jacobs fell all the way to Eric in the second round. You could have had a Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry slot. The only reason I'm hating on Joe Mixon is last year, remember my team name was Never Mixing It Up Again? It's because Joe Mixon was my first round pick, and I'm never mixing it up again with him. So forgive my biasness of the Joe Mixon pick there. Cooper Kupp, like he could be solid. Juju's just banking on Ben being healthy. Evan Ingram can't stay healthy. Kareem Hunt's a great pick there. Stafford, I'm not sold on. Gardner Minshew, like I said, I like Gardner. Philip Lindsay, he did keep DK Metcalf in a 10th round value, which is excellent value there. So, he has some decent, some good hope there, but I just don't think that he's going to contend legitimately for a playoff spot. Now, with that being said, that's every team. As I said, I do believe that Cody's team is, one of the top teams for sure. I didn't really get too in depth, but going DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, Chris Carson, Russell Wilson, Robert Woods, Michael Gallup, DJ Shark. I can tell you that Cody's not going to start more than one running back this week. So I remember. I noticed you, Eric. I saw you on that on the video chat saying, I know what he's doing, when Scott was like, Cody got a lot of receivers. So yeah, I'm taking the page out of Eric's book. He did win Scott's league with a bunch of receivers one year. And I've just been trying to replicate that since, and I haven't been able to do it really. So hopefully this year I put myself a good core receivers together to do that. With that being said, that's every team in the draft recap. Each week I'm going to do a matchup recap. I will do that one. Today is Monday. I know we're after the first week, as I said. However, these opinions are pre-draft opinions, pre-week one opinions. And I will do a week one recap. I will do a week two preview, and so forth and so on. Based on before this video, I believe there were more picks for 2 different videos. So I will do a Tuesday and a Wednesday video every week to get ready for Thursday. Maybe I'll throw some waivers in as well. Probably not, because I'm not that in depth with it yet, and as somebody who's in the league, I don't want to give out all my fucking thoughts. so we'll wait on that. Maybe I'll do a podcast. I am planning on doing a podcast at some point, so we'll find out when that happens. However, with that being said, I would like to say thank you to all 12 members of the league, including myself, obviously, for a fun draft. Again, this is always my favorite draft. Again, they're my friend. Everybody's my friend. But just the chemistry, the laughs, the jokes. I know a lot of people don't know everybody here, but I feel like the love was mutual, and I feel like everybody else had a lot of fun as well. So from the bottom of my heart to everybody, I love you guys as friends, family, whatever. We go back years, all of us, and hopefully we can continue to go on years and years and years until God forbid any of us pass away. With that being said, good luck this season, guys. I'll see you guys in your week one recap. Peace out, as Matthew Berry would say.